Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Monday. We're back. Hope you had a great Thanksgiving. It's the holidays are officially here. It's Cyber Monday. Right? We had Black Friday. By all accounts, a good start to the holidays. And, of course, we got Christmas coming up. It is the first day of December. Just a quick reminder, there is a meeting tonight in Chandler, 6 o'clock. This is the how to get on the exchanges and sell Texit, buy Texit, which I have been doing as of late. There is a couple of openings, so the 2 spots opened up today. All meetings in Phoenix from here on out, as an example, the meetings here at the office are already full this week. Next week, going to be another meeting in Chandler on Monday. That one's going to be at 5 o'clock. The meetings in Phoenix are already full. So what I want you to do, if you want to go to one of these, I don't care if it's the Chandler meeting here at the office, call 800-951-0592. And what we're going to do is we have a list. And we just go down the list. Hey, we got a meeting you want in? Yes. Great. No. All right, we'll call you the next one. Right? And that is how we're handling that. They book up very, very fast. So please call and get on the list.
Let me add something here.
Go ahead, Jason.
So there's going to be a Colorado Texit holiday dinner. This just got ironed out over the weekend. There's going to be 200 spots. It's going to be at Cinzetti's, Cinzetti's is an Italian buffet. Super, super good. It's higher end kind of food. It's not garbage, that's for sure. But Mike got the budget for the advertising to put together, and he wants to make sure that this gathering for the holiday Texit gathering he wants to make sure we have a good turnout. So don't feel like they don't need to spend more money on me. No, we want every single person in Colorado. If Joe wanted to show up, Joe could come to this thing. It's December 22nd. It's the Monday before Christmas. It's 6 p.m. We have reservations for 200. The way that you reserve your spot is you go to coloradotxc.org. That's Mike's website for Texit Coin. Go to coloradotxc.org and get your reservations in. I think we'll fill it up. But obviously, better to put the reservation in sooner than later so that you got your spot. But it's right off 104th on I-25. I mean, you can see it from the highway. Very easy to get to. Mike wanted to have it a little more centrally located, north of Denver, but not all the way to Fort Collins, because we got people in the Denver area that are signed up for Texit Coin as well. We also have Texit Coin meetings on the 10th of December, Wednesday, and the 17th of December, which is a Wednesday. So Mike's going to be very busy trying to get you guys hyped up, as there's still hash to be sold, right, Joe?
Yes, still a lot of hash to be sold, and just really quick how this is going to be. We're in that. I think the easy growth is done, and the fill it up growth won't start till about 100,000 miners. So right now we're about 45,000 miners away from. Once we get to 100, it'll be over, because everybody, you think about it, at that point, you're going to need, Joe, you're going to need another 50 to 75,000 miners. Why is it going to be over? And the answer is really simple. You got 100,000 miners. Of those 100,000 that are already in, the amount of them that can at least buy one seat, right? Very few have, if you've done a 27, you can't buy any more seats, right? But everybody else can, and they're going to. And I think it'll go very, very quickly. We just need to kind of get through this dead period. I don't know if you noticed over the holiday, very active Not once, not twice, like 4 different times. Went up to $4. I did it again this morning. Kind of gets there, and it's like, now, and then really just bouncing between. Let's say $3.50. I don't think it's gotten to $3.50, but we'll say $3.50 to $4. Once it breaks this $4, it's probably going to go. Excuse me, to $5, because that's just kind of what the charts say. Bitcoin took another beating in the corner. I thought that was going to be over. Well, apparently somebody needed some holiday money, Jason, right? Somebody needed a bunch of holiday money, a lot of selling in Bitcoin back into the lower 80s again. But we haven't even talked about, the Silver Express. We told you this was going to happen. We'll be back. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason on this Monday. One other announcement I almost forgot. Last week we were selling another one of those 27 packs that had almost 400 Texacoin included. That is gone. So we'll see. Maybe somebody will give us another one. We've done that twice, and they're gone immediately. So thank you for that. And again, if you want to add to your position, you want to sign up if you haven't done it yet. Throw $9.95 at it and see what happens. We just had 2 more people upgrade that started out with, the $9.95s. It's something where I get it, right? They want to, okay, I don't know, that sounds like it's untrue and it's a scam or it's this or that, and then all of a sudden you see it hit your account every single day. So call us at 800-951-0592. Right now, the Dow's down 260. The S&P's down 30. The NASDAQ's down 140. The 10-year note, just when I thought, hey, maybe we could get some lower rates, bam, 4.1. Yep, we briefly, right before the holiday, got below 4%. That is gone. Japan, their 10-year note almost to 1.9. I know that sounds ridiculous, right? 1.9, but that's huge for the Japanese. It looks like they are going to be forced to raise rates in December. Now, remember, we've got a Fed meeting coming. What is it, 2 weeks? 2 weeks? They're going to cut rates, guys. We've told you that they're going to be cutting rates. Unfortunately, when you have an avalanche of debt to sell, it makes it hard for those longer-term dates to sell, right? Right now, gold's up 15, 42.35. Yeah, what happened? Wait a minute, Joe, when you guys, it wasn't, we're in the 4100s. No, that's gone. 42.35. Silver, man, it will not. I cannot raise prices fast enough. It was so funny on Friday. Jason starts texting me about silver and how silver was going. And at the time, it was up a couple of bucks. And it was so funny. We ended up talking. I'm like, dude, I'm at the office. I saw it. I'm raising prices, and silver ended up $3 on Friday. Well, we were off. It is not stopping. Right now, silver's up $1.67, $58. Yep, you heard me right. $58. And again, Jason and I have been very, very consistent in telling you what was going to be happening on both fronts, gold and silver. Here's the question. Does gold go above 4,500, closer to 5,000 before the end of the year? Here's the thing. Here's what's not in question. Right? Gold will be 5,000 next year. That's not in question. I mean, can I slap a guarantee on it? No. But all but a guarantee. How could it be? Well, think about this. The IMF said, hey, we may have to sell some gold because all these countries that we give money to never pay us back. And guess what gold said? So somebody will buy it. Then Ukraine is saying that Russia is selling their gold. I don't know. You know, it's a Ukrainian source, but maybe. But guess what? Everyone said, there's plenty of people to buy it. You know the announcement out of, like, from Tether. I'm sure. You know what? Here's what's funny. Why do I believe Circle is doing what Tether is doing? They just haven't announced it, right? Because remember, there's here in the U.S. we have USDT and USDC. Those are the two primary stable coins. Demand is unrelenting. Silver. This was just easy. Why? Why do I say it's easy? Well, anybody that could do math knew this was coming. See, we know what the demand for silver is. And when you think about, okay, this is so easy. Where is the only growth really in the global economy? Where is it? Well, let's see. It's in computing, right? Servers, data warehousing, right? AI, crypto. I mean, that's pretty much it, right? Everything else is either a nothing burger. Well, it's not great. It's not good. It's not great. It's okay. Or it's in recession. Right? But this is it. And guess what all of those things need? Every single one of them. Silver. Silver. We know what can come out of the ground. We know it. Every silver mine in the world is producing the maximum amount of silver possible. They are spending whatever they can spend to mine as much silver as possible. Guess what? Ready? It's not enough. The warehouses are empty. A matter of fact, for you guys that like to get your stuff on the TV, if you look at the TV right now, they're going to tell you that silver's almost $59. That is the March contract, by the way. March. Here's the only question for silver. Is it going to be closer to 100 or closer to 50 before the year is out? Right now, we're at what, 58, 59. So what's closer? Anything below 75 is closer to 50. Anything above 75 is closer to 100. And I'll just say this, Jason. If it doesn't hit 75, why do I get the feeling it'll be right next to 75? That's just what it looks like. And here's the problem. Silver's going to be $100 next year. I mean, that's going to happen. Why? Because I said so? No. Because everybody needs it. There's not enough of it. And guess what? every company, look at even the United States, we've now put silver on the critical mine list, right? It's a critical that we have it. New York is empty, London beyond empty, and Shanghai is empty. In other words, what I'm saying is New York and Shanghai are not going to help London anymore because they don't have enough silver to help themselves, which is going to drive this price, Jason. I think this is why has silver gone up $5 in the last 2 trading days? Because they held on as long as they could, and now they're like, okay, well, now supply and demand rules, and we don't know where the next batch of silver is going to come from. There's no miracle to be had when it comes to physical.
Yeah, well, the paper suppression seems to not be as strong as it's been. It seems like there's a breakout, and Joe just mapped out the entire physical part of it, where physical silver is and where it is not. So the only way to slow down the demand is the price to be higher. That's the way it has to work under a healthy market or a healthy indication of where the market is. And I mean, silver can. I mean, I predicted that silver would shoot up in large amounts a few months ago. I said, look, I thought we'd get to 60, and then it would slow down for a little while, and then it would go again. So we got to 54. Blew right through the 40s, went to 54. It actually tested back down to the upper 40s. I mean, and that's it. I decided it wasn't just going to hang around for too long. We had about a month and a half there where gold and silver kind of just sat there waiting to be bought. And now we're over $58. I mean, I keep checking the prices. It keeps going up.
Stop looking at it. It's now 58 and a quarter.
58 and a quarter. So $60 silver could be this week. I mean, still $60 silver could be today. But
right.
But there's going to be ups and there's going to be downs. It's not going to shoot straight up. But I mean, Christmas 3.5 weeks away from now. It just seems like a long ways away with the way silver's acting. And I said, look, we're going to have a day in silver where you're going to see $5 or $6 it goes up in one day. Yeah. Did it on Wednesday. So
Friday.
Excuse me.
Yeah, Friday.
And I see a day where we have like a 10% rise in silver. Now, if we're at $60 silver, that means it goes up $6. We'll have one of those days. There's going to be some head scratching, some ideas. I was listening to Lynette Zhang, and I was listening to Mike Maloney, these guys, and they were talking about, in 1980 when the way they stopped it is they did sell orders only. It got to that high level, yep. and they said liquidation orders only. Liquidation. No one will be buying. There's only liquidation, and when that's the only option you have, that drove the demand down, and everybody started selling it. It was to get the silver out of the people's hands that were holding it as an investment and put it back in the market. And we could see a suppression like that again, but you're going to have some real push. I mean, real push towards that $100 that Joe was talking about, and we'll have a day where it goes up 10%. Yeah, $65. We could have $6.50 silver going up in one day, and then watch out. I mean, the commodities in Chicago, didn't they have trouble getting their stuff up and running the other day, Joe?
They had our servers were down. It got too hot. Right.
Isn't that what they told Michael Burry when his shorts were starting to pay off against the housing market? Yeah, they were laughing at him when he made a product that didn't exist, which was shorting the housing market. And then when it came time to pay, all these big banks suddenly weren't answering their phones. Right?
They were. The phone lines are down. 58.35. Silver's up. Geez. Okay, listen. I'll just say this right this second. A case of U.S. Silver Eagles, $32,000. Rolls of U.S. Silver Eagles, $12.85. 5-ounce silver bars, $3.15. Rolls of half dollars, $4.35. Heck, rolls of dimes, $2.15.
That's amazing, isn't it?
And
that's more than $4 per dime. More than $4 per dime.
Right? And remember, we had that commercial about dimes being $2.
Yeah, over $3. Right? Yeah, over $3 or over $2. Yeah.
Right. Now we're at $4.
$4.
But I'll just say this: here's the problem with the prices I just gave you. I did that at $57.50. Right now it's almost, it's $58.40. So it's up another dollar since then. So essentially, you're saving $500 on a case of Silver Eagles right now. That's how insane this market is. We're back here. $20 gold pieces, $43.50. Still, what a great deal, right? What a great deal. This close to spot as we're watching the markets here, the debt market, a big move this morning. They haven't put it out yet. I keep looking. How much borrowing did the banks have to do in the repo market at the end of last month?
Yeah.
And obviously the thing that I think happened is we probably broke a record in that market and sent the 10-year bond yields higher this morning because we did get U.S. manufacturing data out, and it wasn't good. So normally that would mean lower rates. Here's what happened. Profit margins under pressure, disappointing sales, rising input cost. The growth in new orders almost completely disappeared. Also, employment continued on a negative track, and yet prices continue to run higher, screaming stagflation. But right now, when we look at what's happening in these debt markets, Jason, I think the biggest thing is the bond market is saying 2% inflation is fantasy, right? That's not realistic. And they can talk about it all they want, but the realities are they have printed an overwhelming amount of money, and now it looks like they're going to have to print another overwhelming amount of money. Why? Because they got to cut rates. Quantitative easing's got to come back on top of all the spending that is coming from the government in 2026.
It's no different than 2019 and 2020, Joe. We're in the same spot. Right now, we just don't have the specter of the boogeyman COVID virus to hit the whole world. Are we going to see some huge emergency if this thing starts to unravel? I mean, look, it's all, look how similar it is from 2019, 2020, Joe. You had the repo market having trouble in 2019. Suddenly, China had this disease that was spreading. 2020 hits, and suddenly it was everywhere. You're shutting down the entire planet and printing money like crazy to everybody. I mean, the repo market's struggling. Here's the thing: which banks are struggling, right, Joe? You had to ask the question. It's a borrowing center. Which banks are failing again? Or is it new banks that are failing this time? Regardless, how much money has the Fed put in this time without even speaking about it? I saw one thing that said $160 billion got injected.
Yeah.
Right. So because they have to fill those loans and keep those big banks from failing. Because here's one thing about regional banks. You absorb that, and they printed a bunch of money for that. But what if a big bank decides to go under, or it's insolvent? And remember, they say too big to fail because what if one of the big banks becomes insolvent? It's contagion all over the place. So if we're sitting right there, what are we looking at in 2026? I mean, what unimaginable economic nightmare is coming, and how are they going to make sure that we don't point the fingers at the biggest bankers in the world, the central banks, and all their cronies that run these governments? Because that's who makes this mess. They want it all. They get it all. And then when something, when people start to wise up, fingers get pointed, right, Joe? And I think there's going to be a whole lot of new people. Trump will probably bring some new people in. We're looking at a new Fed chief, right? Jerome Powell probably wants to get out of there as quick as he can. He knows what's going to happen. It's a game that's being played, and somebody has to be the GOAT. Not GOAT, greatest of all time. I'm not talking, the jerk that gets blamed, right? Who's going to get blamed this time? I don't think COVID's going to work this time around. Is it going to be a war? Is Ukraine going to blow up? Is it going to be Venezuela? Is a nuclear bomb going to go off somewhere so we can all take our? Well, the markets are really bad. That nuclear bomb blew up, and we should just be happy that we have a place to sleep and food in our kitchen, right? That's what they do. The big emergency. Well, it could be worse. We could have been sitting there where that bomb blew up. And same old story, Joe. Same old song, and I don't see how we don't end up with an economic mess. Here's the thing: the timing of it, though. We don't have to have an economic disaster in the first half of 2026. This could take a little time to bake in. A lot of times you get into that heavy inflation, you have a burn up of all asset classes. The prices go up and up and up as you start to burn up, and then the strongest asset classes go down less than all the others when you have the crash. That's what happened during COVID, and there was a lot. Joe just talked about quantitative easing. That's going to have to happen.
Yeah,
it's going to have to happen. If they don't want to blow, if they don't want to blow up this, if they want to blow up 2026, they have to print the money to push that down a little bit, Joe. Push it down the road.
It's all but guaranteed. It's just math, right? Sorry. And then Kevin Hassett, who has emerged as the leader now. Yeah. Okay, remember Paul Volcker, right? Paul Volcker, he had the stones, the cojones to crush inflation, right, and bring rates. Kevin Hassett is the exact opposite of Paul Volcker. In other words, he is going to unleash incredible amounts of spending by the central bank, incredible amounts of interest rate cuts and everything possible to try to stave off what it is that Jason's been talking about. And quite honestly, there's no staving it off, right? I guess I shouldn't say that. You can buy yourself a little more time before it all comes crashing down. But the one thing I'll say to people, it no longer is just the big banks now. It's no longer that. We could have, the 30th biggest bank, the 25th biggest bank, the 20th biggest bank go under and literally jeopardize the entire system. That's how big this has gotten. This is how bad the problem has gotten. Take the Radio News Hour. I hope you figured out two things. Preserve your wealth with gold and silver, and get something that gives you daily income like Texas coin, because you're going to need both. 217. Silver's up another 217. 58.50. Silver, or gold, it's only up 20. $4,240. $20 gold pieces, $43.50. And we're just giving it away. U.S. Silver Eagles. $32,000 for a case of U.S. Silver Eagles. I don't even know what to say. I think the first case of Silver Eagles I ever sold back when I first started, it wasn't even $4,000. It wasn't even close to $4,000. It was $3,000 and change. I don't know, maybe $3,500. $32,000, and that's on sale. That's on sale. $32,000. Rolls of Silver Eagles, $1,285. Everything's on sale right now in silver because silver keeps going high. I'm not right there in the show. 5-ounce silver bars, $315. By the way, really quickly, for those of you, there's a couple of things I meant to talk. If you're waiting for 5-ounce silver bars, they'll be here this week. If you're waiting for $5 Indians, they'll be here this week. We had a few people still waiting on cases of silver. They'll be here this week. Everything will be in this week. The holidays in obviously overwhelming demand. I got to quit looking. 227, 58.61. I mean, it just moved 11 cents in 25 seconds.
A lot
Jason
of buying of
right.
silver, man. It is pushing hard. I mean,
there is none. And people don't really understand. They can't deliver. This is, I think, like Jason said, well, what if they raise the margin requirements? So, see, it was easy to control it when it was paper-driven. Silver is let's just put silver in terms of gold, okay? Gold, as far as dollars, 10 times bigger than the silver market. The silver market was controllable because it was small. And we all know J.P. Morgan, blah, blah, we all know the stories. Here's the problem today. Obviously, the silver market, just in price per ounce, doubled in size since the beginning of this year. Silver's up 100%.
Yep, 100%.
100%.
It's doubled this year.
This year. But the biggest thing, demand and supply. Economics 101. That's the problem they're in. I mean, the only other choice is to not deliver. Right? You can't do that. It may happen. Here's the sad part. This may happen. A lot of people speculated that Friday's quote-unquote outage at the CME bailed out, and I know, you can decide if it was J.P. Morgan or not.
And then they let it run.
And then let it run. Seems like a very plausible scenario because of what I'm seeing today. Which means, gosh, silver's going to go. Silver may go up more today than it did on Friday. And the realities are everybody needs it. Shanghai, we told you, a few weeks ago, they were not going to bail out London, right? They weren't going to do it. Now, the COMEX tried. The COMEX has delivered a ton of physical gold to London. Here's the problem. Shanghai now, they just released their silver holdings. It is the lowest going back to 2015, and that's kind of like 2015, they were just starting this thing. They say the drawdown reflects that China shipped 660 metric tons of silver alone, the highest monthly total on record, and most of it went to London. And China now says that was a one-off. They've already instituted, by the way, China, Mexico, and there was somebody else, I forget who it was, starting January 1st, are imposing even stricter controls on silver. And, of course, Mexico, they still are the biggest producer of it. But essentially, China now says, hey, we've got no more silver to deliver to London. And, Jason, the math doesn't work at that point. If you don't have New York and Shanghai together, they can't bail out London. And here's the realities. New York's out. Well, they're not out, but they're at a level where they're like, we don't want to go any lower than this. China just said, we're done going lower. It's already too low. This is something, like you said, when Jason comes out and says, hey, the price can go up $6 in a day, that's because the price was suppressed for so long, and now Economics 101 has taken over. Give you an example. Listen, 72 ounces now, silver to gold. Remember, when it got up to like 120, right? It's been hovering in the 90s and high 80s for a long time, down to 72. Listen, $5,000 gold, $100 silver, that's 50 to 1. That's looking like a shoe-in. And unfortunately, I think silver could, heck, it could go to 30 to 1, maybe 20 to 1. You just don't know. That's how much demand there really is. We'll be back. Final segment when we return. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour, Joe and Jason on a Monday. Oh, I missed it. I missed the move. Nope. Silver's doubled this year. I missed it. Gold's up, what? Gold's up 60 or 70% this year. I missed it. Nope. This isn't the big move yet. I know that's hard for you to understand. I've been doing this a really long time. Jason, listen. Jason's been doing this a long time. A long time. I don't blow, unicorns and rainbows up your backside. I try not to. I tell you honestly, this is what's going to happen. And am I right every time? No. Is Jason right every time? No. Dude, but we're right most of the time. And in this situation, I'm sorry, I'm not even worried about right. You know what I'm really honestly worried about is I'm being too cautious.
Yeah, we may have runaway inflation, and gold and silver just goes up every month, and there is no time to get in except for as early as you possibly can. I mean, that's what we're kind of looking at, Joe. Gold doubling in price since Valentine's Day last year. Now silver's doubled this year. That's a leading indicator of the kind of price problems we're going to see. I like looking at groceries. I like looking at food. Basic foods, and when the basic food prices push up, it's like with everything else, right, Joe? Printing money causes the price of everything to go up, and things are going up, Joe. And it's the unfortunate part of this is if you're holding gold and holding assets, you're in a comfortable position because your value is retained. But if you're not holding assets, this gets scary when gas prices go up, and food prices go up, and your rent goes up. And then someone gets fired in your household, and you got less income coming in. This is the way it is designed. It's designed for the lower end of society to run in the rat wheel, not get anywhere, and make sure society is running, and no forwarding of your family, no advancement, no higher standard of living for your family, because you have to use the most important muscle in your body, your brain, to learn how to set yourself in a very strong position when these things are happening. Joe and I can't control the financial games being played. We can only react. We can only look at how they do it and then decide where do you put this to be in your best possible position. And I think 2025 is a good year for Joe and Jason. I think Joe and Jason, we've showed that we're always we're not financial geniuses. We're not the fly on the wall in these economic meetings knowing exactly where to place money in the markets or anything. But we do have enough. We got our eyes open enough, Joe, to make some good decisions and present them to the audience.
Well, we've been telling you for how long. We have the winners. Gold and silver are winners. Texas coin, winner. The need to preserve wealth and then the need to generate wealth has never been more important. And for those of you that are smart enough to take the advice, you're going to be awfully glad you did.